We all know Internet Anarchist. He's the guy who sits comfortably behind a mic and makes flawless documentaries about other people messing up their lives online. For years, he has established himself as one of YouTube's premier investigative storytellers. If a creator lied, cheated, or acted crazy, he was there to document their downfall with dramatic music and perfect editing. He was the man who exposed everyone. Well, everyone except himself. This is Era Review, where fame meets truth. And today we are talking about Internet Anarchist. This is all because another documentary of Internet Anarchist suddenly became one of the biggest controversies surrounding his own channel. Let's get into it. In May 15th, 2026, he released a major documentary titled How This YouTuber Destroyed His Life in 7 Seconds, focusing on the story of anime creator Chibi Reviews. The upload instantly pulled in thousands of viewers, triggering a rapid chain of events. But before the video could even cross the 10-minute mark, attentive viewers noticed something troubling: a fake tweet being used as a background screenshot inside the documentary. And almost instantly, the internet turned the investigation back onto the investigator himself. At first, the criticism focused mainly on the lack of verification. One viewer said, "Damn dude, this might be the most blatantly bad faith hit piece I've seen you produce, literally ever." Another commenter pointed out the legal implications of presenting false information in a serious documentary, writing, "Do you realize that defamation is illegal?" Others felt the mistake completely destroyed the credibility of the video itself. One user wrote, "Imagine posting a fake tweet and still trying to be credible LMAO. How do you even have an audience anymore?" And for some viewers, this wasn't just a minor oversight anymore. It was enough to completely lose trust in the channel. Great, another channel I can unsubscribe from and never watch again. Keep lacking integrity. You'll go far, I'm sure. Another viewer went even further, saying, "Just give up. You ruined your entire YouTube career with this one." As the backlash spread, Internet Anarchist quickly privated the original upload and later re-uploaded the documentary with a new title, How This YouTuber Ruined His Life in 3 Days, and a public explanation in the pinned comment. He wrote, "This is a re-upload. The original briefly showed a fake tweet from Chibi as a background asset for about 6 seconds. It wasn't in the script, and editors sourced it independently without realizing it was fake, and it got past review. That's on me. I caught it within 10 minutes of uploading and applied a blur, but a YouTube Studio bug applied that blur across the center of the entire frame instead of just the asset. Rather than leave the video like that, I took it down this morning and re-uploaded a clean version." But even after the re-upload, viewers immediately noticed and say, "Bro thought if he tried again at midnight, we wouldn't notice." While another joked, "Remember people, if you're rightfully harassed for slandering someone, just do it again," according to Internet Anarchist. And once the re-uploaded version spread online, the criticism became even harsher. One viewer wrote, "The damage is already done, there's no walking back this one, bud." Another criticized the explanation itself, saying, "Throwing the editor under the bus instead of taking responsibility is crazy." And after all of this started unfolding, Chibi Reviews himself finally responded after noticing that the original upload had quietly disappeared and a re-uploaded version had taken its place. Reacting to the situation, Chibi posted, "It's come to my attention he re-uploaded the hit piece video. He had to hide the original because of all the dislikes and comments." The post spread quickly across the commentary community, with many viewers treating it as proof that the backlash had already spiraled far beyond a simple editing mistake. And instead of slowing the controversy down, the re-upload only ended up bringing even more attention to the criticism surrounding the documentary. And underneath all the jokes, criticism, and reactions, one thing was becoming very clear. This wasn't just a normal YouTube mistake anymore. It was a credibility crisis happening publicly in real time. To understand how he reached this point, we first need to look at the massive footprint he had already built online. And for those who don't know much about the person behind the Internet Anarchist name, let's rewind for a second and look at where all of this really started. Before Internet Anarchist, some people on the internet knew him as WAMO. He originally started that channel on October 1st, 2015, building an audience inside the Team Fortress 2 community through gaming commentary, expose-style videos, and drama-focused content surrounding the same scene he was part of. Over time, the channel grew to around 54,000 subscribers, with more than 80 uploads, before eventually going inactive nearly 4 years ago. And interestingly, some older viewers already seemed aware of where things were heading long before the current controversies ever exploded. One comment from over a year ago simply read, "He finally gave up," but the reply underneath revealed something much more interesting. Nope, he just moved to a new channel that didn't focus on TF2 and seen way more success. Internet Anarchist is the channel name. And once the plagiarism controversy started spreading, even more longtime viewers suddenly began resurfacing in the comments. One user wrote, "Internet Anarchist used to be known online as WAMO, a notorious plagiarist and drama slopper in the Team Fortress 2 community. I had been awaiting this guy getting some sort of criticism after he moved on to being another Sunny V2 clone." Another longtime fan agreed, feeling that his old channel just kept moving from one drama to the next, without actually changing how he made his videos. As a TF2 fan since 2011, I can confirm this comment. Wow, you hit the nail on the head. WAMO attacked a TF2 YouTuber for fat shaming, but he clearly didn't actually care about the cause because he did a collab with the infamous Maxim alumnus, who was a serial doxer and had a Discord server full of CP. It's a shame that the least talented TF2 YouTuber ended up being one of the most successful TF2 tuber to YouTuber channels. For the new fans who only knew his current channel, finding out about his past was a huge shock. Another commenter simply responded, "Why didn't you warn us?" And as more people revisited his older online history, the conversation started becoming much bigger than one fake tweet or one copied script. Because to some viewers, this didn't look like a sudden mistake anymore. It looked like a pattern they believed had existed long before Internet Anarchist ever became a documentary channel. And then he officially launched his channel named Internet Anarchist on July 23, 2021. In just 5 years, he built a powerhouse identity on YouTube, releasing over 248 videos and growing a fiercely loyal audience of more than 1.83 million subscribers who trusted his documentaries almost blindly. Through relentless consistency and dramatic internet storytelling, he built everything a commentary creator could dream of. His early breakthrough came with The Satisfying Downfall of Nas Daily, which pulled in over 7.6 million views and helped establish his reputation as one of YouTube's biggest internet documentary creators. But his biggest video yet became How Penguin Zero Destroyed YouTube's Worst Content Thief, which exploded past 11 million views and pushed the channel even deeper into mainstream YouTube culture. And strangely enough, after spending years breaking down other creators' controversies, people eventually started breaking down his too. Over time, his most attentive viewers started noticing a pattern that couldn't be ignored. It began with accusations of copying content directly from other creators' videos, essentially lifting the research, structure, and hard work of smaller channels to feed his own view counts. Whenever he was caught red-handed, the response followed a familiar script, blaming his production team for the oversight, followed by a rushed attempt to give credit to the original creator, only after the public pressure became too loud to ignore. For a while, these incidents were treated as minor slip-ups, but his true audience and most dedicated fans were watching closely. They saw the pattern, and they tried warning him again and again in the comments. The standards were slipping, and the community was noticing, setting the stage for a much larger crisis of integrity. It started entirely by accident. A YouTuber named Mr. Snowflake was working with an Internet Anarchist video about James Corden playing in the background. The reason he had it on is a crucial piece of the puzzle, because just 24 hours prior, he had watched a video covering the exact same topic by a channel called Tell Us More. As Internet Anarchist's video played, an unsettling feeling began to set in. The structure was identical, the word choices were eerily similar. The exact clips used were completely mirrored, and the story was told beat for beat. It was a near-flawless reflection of Tell Us More's original documentary, which had been uploaded back in April 3, 2025, months before Internet Anarchist released his own version in September. Mr. Snowflake chose not to let it slide. On December 20th, 2025, he uploaded a comprehensive breakdown video comparing the two pieces of content side by side. What he uncovered wasn't a case of one or two minor coincidences. It was a sustained, undeniable pattern across the entire runtime. Entire sentences were simply rephrased, and the original structure was only slightly reordered. It was the kind of overlapping evidence that became impossible to explain away as mere inspiration. To his credit, Internet Anarchist didn't deny it. He quickly published a community post on YouTube acknowledging the plagiarism. He explained that in recent months he had been expanding his operations and had brought a new writer onto the team, a writer he claimed he had now fired. Taking personal responsibility for failing to properly vet the script before recording it, he unlisted the James Corden video and agreed to transfer 100% of the revenue it generated directly to Tell Us More. On the surface, it was a near-perfect response: accountability, immediate action, and financial compensation. But he also stated something else, and this is the detail that would come back to haunt him. He assured his audience that he had conducted an internal review of his other content and confidently claimed this was nothing more than an isolated incident. For a few days, it seemed like the storm had passed. It hadn't. On Christmas Day, 2025, Mr. Snowflake uploaded a second video. He revealed that it took him less than 40 minutes to completely demolish Internet Anarchist's claim that the plagiarism was a one-time mistake. Within that brief window, he uncovered 5 additional videos stretching back nearly 2 years that followed the exact same pattern. The most damaging example was a documentary on Jeremy Fragrance, which lifted its entire narrative structure from a channel called Ryan Pictures. The sentence structures were identical, the descriptions matched, and the storytelling ran completely parallel. Shockingly, comments on the original Ryan Pictures video proved that attentive viewers had actually pointed out the blatant theft months earlier, only to be ignored. And it didn't stop there. Internet Anarchist had allegedly lifted content from Ryan Pictures not once, but 3 separate times, with his videos covering Lunchly, Pokemon's cookie brand, and a controversial TikToker named Emerald, showing the exact same blueprint. Scripts were lifted, structures were copied, and smaller creators' hard work was repurposed for a massive audience. Another video also heavily mirrored research from a creator named Justical, with evidence of plagiarism now dating back to at least November 2023. The new writer defense completely collapsed. A recently hired writer couldn't possibly account for content theft that occurred 2 years prior. Following this second expose, Internet Anarchist went completely silent on the matter. He kept uploading, but the controversy was never addressed. His comment sections quickly became flooded with viewers asking about the plagiarism, demanding proper writer credits, and ironically asking when he was going to make a video documenting his own downfall. This is the detail that turned a standard internet controversy into something almost poetic. As Mr. Snowflake pointed out, Internet Anarchist had previously released content calling out another YouTube channel for doing the exact same thing, stealing content from his videos. A creator who built a massive empire on exposing content theft was actively committing it. A documentary filmmaker who made a living highlighting the hypocrisy of others was caught in a massive web of his own. The exact deep dive format he pioneered to document the downfalls of other creators was now being turned directly on him. Soon, multiple other channels picked up the story, including Justicool, Ryan Pictures, HRK Studio, and Tell Us More, giving a united voice to the creators who had been directly affected. To map out exactly how this unfolded in real time, first, the video goes live with a fabricated tweet visible for roughly 6 seconds. Internet Anarchist catches the error within 10 minutes and attempts to apply a localized blur. However, a YouTube Studio glitch causes the blur to take over the center of the entire frame. Rather than leaving a visually broken video online, he privates it completely, alters the title to "The YouTuber That Won't Stop Defending Lolicon," and re-uploads a clean version. Meanwhile, an independent creator uploaded a separate breakdown, meticulously verifying which tweets in the original documentary were authentic and which were entirely fake, adding an extra layer of public scrutiny to the situation. The response to the re-uploaded video remained incredibly critical. Even neutral observers pointed out the glaring issue. This is a creator whose entire brand is built on countering misinformation and documenting other people's failures to fact-check. Yet, a fabricated tweet made it past their entire review process and straight into production. While his core fan base largely accepted the technical explanation, the consensus was clear. An error of this magnitude simply shouldn't happen on a channel of this scale. Taken individually, every single one of these incidents has a convenient explanation. The plagiarism, a bad writer, the fake tweet, an oversight by an editor, the visual mess, a YouTube studio bug. But when you zoom out and look at the larger picture, a very different story forms. It reveals a channel producing high-volume content at a pace that outruns its own ability to fact-check. It shows a production line where scripts aren't being verified against existing videos, and background assets sourced by editors aren't being authenticated before hitting the upload button. This isn't a collection of one-time mistakes. It points to a systemic, structural problem. And the most uncomfortable truth of all is that Internet Anarchist's audience came to him precisely because he held other creators to a flawless standard. They trusted him because he was the one who pointed out these exact patterns of laziness and negligence in other people's work. To be absolutely clear, this isn't a declaration that Internet Anarchist is finished. His channel remains active and he still holds a massive audience of over 1.8 million subscribers. The reality of YouTube is that a large portion of any massive audience either remains unaware of behind-the-scenes controversies or simply decides it doesn't impact their enjoyment of the final product. In the digital world, no creator is entirely exempt from the standards they demand from others, not even the ones who built their entire legacy on enforcing them. Thank you for watching Era Review.